This is season 4, and we're talking about the collaborative impact from research to reality. I've got with me Jenny Jabour, Technology Transfer Officer with ERDC, Office of Research and Technology Transfer, otherwise known as ORTT, and Janice Karcher. She is the Deputy Director of ERDCWERX. Ladies, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Annette. Great to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so as we always do, we're going to dive into some information about yourselves. So tell me about yourselves, your background, and your roles at ERDC and ERDCWERX.
I guess I'll start.
Yeah. So, you're it.
So I'm Jenny Jabour, and as Annette said, I work as a Technology Transfer Officer in the ORTT office. So I started in the Office of Research Technology Transfer about 5 years ago, actually. October will be my 5th year. And so, prior to that, I worked as a contracting officer in the ERDC contracting office and worked with acquisitions in that mechanism, or those mechanisms. And then, prior to that, if we want to go back even farther.
Yes, I want you to go far.
I honestly started with the Corps of Engineers in 1999, and I was a contractor for 7 years working in the security office at the district, and then moved over to government employment. And so then that's when I started in acquisitions, and then of course we move into the Office of Research Technology Transfer. So I kind of went full circle because acquisitions is really doing the contracting mechanisms, bringing in or working with government partners in a different mechanism, like a different way. And then the ORTT is working with our researchers on the program side, which is really cool. And so it's kind of been a life cycle.
Great. So go even further back than that.
Oh gosh. Before that, well, when I was working at the Corps of Engineers at the district, I was actually going to school full time and as I was working in the security office, I actually was going to school at Belhaven College, and that's where I received a bachelor's in business management.
That's what I wanted to hear. Okay.
And you're not from
I do have some
Mississippi
education,
originally, right? You moved to Mississippi.
Yes. I'm actually from West Virginia originally, and then, just kind of going on and on. But anyway.
That's what I want you to do.
But my dad worked for the Naval Shipyard in Charleston, South Carolina. So he moved our family here when the shipyard closed in, I think, 94.
So you've been here since 94.
I've been here in Vicksburg. I'm a Vicksburgian, or whatever you call it.
I think that's what we're called.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're called.
I am now that.
Well, thank you so much. We just learned a lot about Jenny. Now we're fixing to learn about Janice.
Thanks, Annette. So I'm a new Vicksburgian.
Vicksburgian.
So I moved here in 2019. So I've been kind of growing in the role and working closely with Jenny and other folks at the Office of Research and Tech Transfer to build ERDCWERX. My background is in economic development, so I spent years recruiting businesses internationally, helping companies pursue government contracts, which is kind of the crossover connection to the work we do at ERDCWERX. And then kind of consulting with companies about how to control costs, how to pursue new opportunities, how to address their talent needs. I basically got into that role by being hired in as the office manager with the tall grass backup and all the old technology back in the 90s. Prior to that, I studied international. I have a German major with a management minor, and did actually end up using my major to do marketing and sales calls to German businesses in German.
That's so neat.
Yeah,
Give me a sentence in German.
Let's see. Es freut mich, Ihnen zu treffen. Means it's nice to meet you.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, that's so
Can't
cool.
remember that, but okay.
So I grew up on a farm in Michigan and was a 4-H'er and had international experiences, and that inspired me to take on international language and international business, and so did apply that in my work in economic development, but that opportunity to move from kind of encouraging companies to consider government contracting to then working on in support of the government side to appeal to industry and academia and the ways that they can innovate with ERDC is really what's inspired me to become part of the ERDCWERX team and work with Jenny and the others at the Office of Research and Tech Transfer.
Fantastic. I love that. It's just
Thank you.
it's an amazing how, in your life everything just brings you to where you are. It's just it's when you look at that line of what you've done in your life, it's just so fun to see how that path has led you here. So, okay, so if you're just tuning in, I'm speaking with Jenny Jabour. She's a technology transfer officer with the ERDC Office of Research and Technology Transfer, and Janice Karcher. She's with ERDCWERX. She's the deputy director of ERDCWERX. Okay, so we are going to keep going by let's start with a question that I'm going to be honest with you, I hear it all the time, and a lot of people hear it all the time, is what is ERDCWERX and how does it support ERDC's mission?
We are at ERDCWERX really proud to work hand in hand, again, with the Office of Research and Tech Transfer, but of course it has really grown to be a connected tissue opportunity with all of the ERDC labs. So not just the 4 that are here in Vicksburg, but also the ERDC labs in Illinois, New Hampshire, and Virginia. But we also are working hand in hand with other departments inside ERDC with the primary goal of making it easier to see and access and pursue opportunities for collaboration with ERDC. So the Office of Research and Tech Transfer is particularly focused on lifting up patents and innovation that's resulted from ERDC's work that needs and can really benefit from, but then also offer a significant opportunity to businesses to further elevate that innovation and introduce it to the marketplace and provide it to federal government customers. And at the same time, the contracting office is interested in helping laboratories understand where innovation is already taking place at industry and inside academia that could help jumpstart or advance an ERDC project that is really driven by a need by a federal government customer. So we're building a kind of a bridge and a greater visibility and accessibility to many opportunities to collaborate with ERDC, both inside Mississippi, but across the world. We're reaching folks and bringing folks to the table for ERDC that are really critical to ERDC's ability to move forward on the next rounds of innovation and solving of the nation's greatest challenges.
Well, and it's, excuse me, it's not just a win-win, it's a win-win-win.
Hopefully 1 + 1 = 3.
Exactly.
Kind of dynamic.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So, okay. So a lot of us are familiar with M-City downtown in downtown Vicksburg, but many still don't quite understand how this innovation ecosystem really works. Can you explain, and how does ERDCWERX play into that?
So we are blessed to be located on the 3rd floor of the old Mississippi Hardware Building, now known as the Mississippi Center for Innovation and Technology, M-City. And we are surrounded by and working in complement with the 4 research institutions from Mississippi, as well as Hines Community College and other critical tenants like the Vicksburg Warren Chamber of Commerce, all looking at that element of the Mississippi connection that I mentioned earlier. So all of those institutions are working hand in hand with us and with ERDC to make the most of the opportunities to innovate with ERDC and to create economic development and business opportunity in Mississippi. So yes, we are giving visibility to the world for these opportunities to collaborate with ERDC, but then there are many Mississippi partners that are working hand in hand with us to make the most of those opportunities for Mississippi directly.
It's so exciting. I
Yes.
mean, and the excitement just keeps building, does it not?
It does, and I think the partners are inspired by the innovation that takes place at ERDC, and so the Mississippi partners are innovating in the way that they respond to those opportunities with ERDC as well.
Fantastic.
I think I want to add something.
Please.
Just to be clear, so partnerships are through academia, not only small businesses, large businesses, but nonprofits. So it's really a plethora of a good bit of society that's wanting to do some engagement with the Corps of Engineers or with ERDC or whatever government partner there may be. So
It just, again, the doors that are open now compared to before is just so exciting and so invigorating. So you guys seem to have this synergy, like we're talking about right now,
Yes.
that really sparks innovation and tech development. Can you share some cool projects where your collaboration led to real-world success?
So I won't say that we are directly involved in the innovation, but we do have synergy when it comes to sharing our researchers' technologies and what they do so importantly. So I guess in some of the ways that we've done some projects would be through our innovation to market. I2M, it's a patent showcase. So we work together, ERDC, with our ERDCWERX partnership, and we basically go out and we look at our portfolio, our intellectual property portfolio, and we take a handful of featured technologies for that year, and we look for partners, collaborators through cooperative research and development agreements, potentially through licensing perspective or licensing opportunities. We also have the time to be able to give the researchers and the industry partner, whomever it may be, academia, whomever, the opportunity to directly talk to those researchers about their innovation. And there's not really a whole lot of time or that we allow that, right? So our researchers are very tied up in some of the stuff that they are doing, right? They're behind the gates doing that. And so the opportunity for them to be able to engage with partners is a significant advantage in my book. But anyways, based off of the I2M program or event status or whatever we want to call it, so we've had several projects, and one of the most recent ones that we've got is the submersible matting system, and so that's just one of many. But anyhow, through a prototype, the Corps of Engineers, or ERDC, was able to partner with a industry partner in New Orleans, and this guy was a construction company to begin with. And anyway, he came up. He submitted a white paper. ERDC evaluated it. I don't know if I need to talk about all that, but anyway,
I think that's important.
but it was selected and funded, and so based off of that partnership, we have now solved a challenging problem for our warfighter when they are trying to breach the coastline or is it the coastline?
Yeah, beachhead.
Beachhead, yes. So they have this matting system to be able to unload all of their important and large
Equipment?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And vehicles.
And vehicles.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So
Tanks.
I know that's a long kind of winded, but anyway, so yes, the submat has been very successful.
I've seen it in person.
Yes.
awesome.
And I think you've interviewed, was it Dr. Rushing maybe?
I did not interview Dr. Rushing, but I was with Dr. Rushing
Okay.
at an event
Okay.
that he had the equipment, the
He might be one
technology
of
there.
one of your potential
He could
interviewees.
be. He could be.
I think what's really interesting about that submat project is that it came to ERDC as a challenge, right?
Right.
So when naval and Army forces are bringing heavy equipment, everything from tanks to heavy trucks off marine craft across the beachhead to enter into an area that isn't served by a port. So
Right.
that's basically they're dropping down the gate and driving heavy equipment off a ship onto a beach. As you might expect, the beachhead doesn't hold up long before they then have to have a bulldozer and go back in and smooth it all out again and make it accessible and position it so that it can accommodate more equipment coming off the ships. This design and the challenge originally was brought to ERDC because they didn't have a solution and needed ideas about how to innovatively address that topic. That's the announcement that came out through ERDCWERX. Just there's this kind of challenge. We're looking for solutions without any specifications about materials, no specifications about the weight or anything like that. Just ERDC has the opportunity to just pose the challenge and see what kinds of innovative ideas come in. And you never know where those ideas can come from. And in this case, to Jenny's point, the most interesting idea came from a CEO of a construction company. We would have never thought, oh, this solution is in the head of a CEO of a construction company. But he knew the materials because they had used them in some type of construction application. And as a result, that construction company has now spun off a new company that specializes in this submat product and has an agreement with ERDC to be the producer and the vendor of this submat product now. And they are, attending war games and demonstrating how well it works in the Philippines and all over the country. And our military forces are getting very excited about the efficiency and the effectiveness of submat as a solution for this really important ability to timely kind of be on a beachhead and be in a part of the country that isn't served by a port in order to defend our allies or defend our own country and holdings quickly and responsively.
And that's a very big success. That's a very big success. Did you have any more that you wanted to add to that? No?
I guess, well, when I had my point about I2M2, it was just the fact that we try to take advantage of that event to recognize those small businesses.
Is that a once a year thing? Or
it's an in-person once a year, but we also have, Janice and her mindful self, she's so intelligent. She was like, hey, why don't we do webinars too? So we have now, how many did we do this year?
5.
5, yeah.
Okay. So it's a series of 6 events.
Great.
Yeah, to kind of lead up to the innovation to market in-person event and get,
But nowadays, that's the way to do that.
Oh, yeah. And the Innovation to Market is a great brand that was created at the Office of Research and Tech Transfer. So this is a way to kind of give more visibility to and kind of give legs, if you will, to a new brand that is created at ERDC and really exemplifies the goal, right? Taking innovation to market and pointing out how folks here in Vicksburg and around the country can engage with ERDC to play a role in that.
Yeah, because I think it's important to know that ERDC is, we are not our own manufacturer. We have to find ways to get our technology out into the commercial marketplace, if it can be in the commercial marketplace, right? Or find the ways to put it in commercial marketplace. And that's one of the ways that the partnership intermediary is helping the Office of Research Technology Transfer.
Okay.
By the way, that's us. We are a partnership intermediary.
That would be.
So it's a certain kind of agreement that federal laboratories are allowed to utilize. So we have a competed contract. And so every 5 years or so, we have to repropose to ERDC that DefenseWERX continue to be the entity that operates and grows ERDCWERX.
Fantastic. That's good to know.
Yes, they're our neutral facilitator.
Yes,
that's a good
neutral.
definition.
We have no preferences for companies or locations. Just finding good solutions for ERDC and good potential partners for ERDC, which ultimately
and doing a great
ERDC
job
selects.
at it too.
Oh, thank you. It's exciting work, very interesting.
Take us through your process. ERDC researchers come up with a great idea with potential to solve. I know we're not supposed to say this word, so instead of saying problem, I'm going to say challenge. Okay, to solve a challenge. What happens next? How do you support the journey from idea to application?
So I guess start with me. If it's a novel and new idea, we would suggest going through the invention disclosure process. And so the Office of Research Technology Transfer, I keep saying it because it's a lot, but ORT.
People go, why is she making that noise?
We have an IP management process that begins with that innovation, right? So our ERDC strategy is innovation to impact, hence why we kind of said innovation to market if you're just now listening in. We were talking about that before. But anyhow, innovation to impact. So it really is like a 5-step process for us and for us to be able to or for our researchers to engage the ORT. But anyway, we look at what they've done. Is it novel? Is it new? If that's the case, then we want them to disclose it to our patent attorneys. And so then they would report that, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the first step. And then the second step would be like strategizing on ways to see what the technology is a good candidate for. Is it good for transfer? Is it good for transition? Is it, how do we want to promote it or anything like that? And then we want to secure that, right? So not all the time that when an inventor comes to us or a researcher comes to us with an invention, is it patentable? But that doesn't mean that it can't be disclosed in case it could be patented later on or if there's some advancements, right? Mm-hmm. So, and then the fourth step would be to promote it. So each technology is promoted with different mechanisms, and one is through our partnership intermediary. They've developed this ERDCinnovation.org website, which is very helpful for our potential partners to look and see what is applicable to them and if they want to license the technology. Mm-hmm. And then I guess leading that into step 5 is where we either license or we find a partnership agreement that would seek or be beneficial for both partners, right? Between ERDC and whomever is the academia or the small business or the large business or whoever we're doing business with.
Okay. That's a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. But we work really close with our innovators, and we try to make it as comfortable for them as we can. So anyway.
Janice, do you have anything to add?
I would just add that ERDC has a great process that actually supports the thinking about that continuum at the beginning. So when a partner comes to the table with ERDC and they have their first agreement that says, here's how we're going to work together, it anticipates and sets up the rules for what will be done or what's intended to be done if new intellectual property, new innovation results from that collaboration. So even before the first step that Jenny pointed out, which is an inventor mm-hmm. at one of the ERDC labs raising their hand and saying, I think we have something unique here that needs to be protected. Mm-hmm. There are already terms in place with the partner that line out and point to the steps that Jenny talked about. So there's work done very well on the front end by the Office of Research and Tech Transfer and Contracting at ERDC to make sure that the partners understand that that's the process that will be put into place when they invent together.
See, this is all coming to place in my head.
So you don't have to figure that out as a new partner, right? ERDC helps set the stage for that collaboration to take place and for new partners to understand how it will work.
Okay, sounds great. So handling intellectual property can be tricky. How do ERDC, ORT, and ERDCWERX work together to protect it?
So carefully.
All right, thank you.
So most IP is collected, like I said, through an invention disclosure form. And most of the time, all the time, we sit down with our patent attorneys. And really that's who drives the process between us and ERDCWERX. So as far as being in how did you say that? Protecting it. Once they've gone to the patent attorney and we've done the invention disclosure process, then it's protected in that manner. Okay. And then the actual invention disclosure or the patent attorney determines whether they need to file it. So once that's done, then they're pretty much protected until it's published and issued. I'm not the IP portfolio manager, but I do know a little bit about the process. So that's just that's really the start of it. And so utilizing ERDCWERX, they, within our terms and conditions of the contract or the agreement that's in place, our partnership intermediary, they have the bandwidth to as well sit in on those discussions, but it's ultimately up to our patent attorneys to determine whether we want to do all that, and I guess that's really, does that make sense?
It sure does. I think it does. And just to help our audience with an example, a recent patent that was issued for ERDC is a fish deterrent solution. So one of the many things that ERDC works on is identifying solutions that hand in hand with the Army Corps of Engineers can be implemented to stop the expansion of the footprint of the Asian carp throughout the rest of the Mississippi River corridor, but into the Great Lakes, for example, because it is a great threat to game fish and other critical species in the Great Lakes. And so this process took place at ERDC in the environmental lab, where they, together with their partners, realized we have kind of piloted and tested a solution in our laboratories. We've done a pilot installation on a lock along the Mississippi River. We now know that we've got innovation that we need to protect. And so that triggered them coming forward to Jenny's office to say, we need help figuring out whether this is patentable, first of all, and how it can be protected. And so that process takes a couple years, because the U.S. Patent and Trade Office review them seriously, compare them to other patents, and ultimately determine whether a patent application actually gets processed and turns into a new patent. And so in this case, ERDC was just recently awarded a new patent naming the innovators at ERDC as well as any critical external partners in a patent that is now protection for this innovation. But then it's also a product from ERDC that's available for industry partners and academic partners to build on and collaborate further to figure out whether it needs additional enhancement or whether there's just a role in now rolling it out and putting it in place in critical locks where ships need to pass through, but we want to make sure that Asian carp don't pass through, for example.
And we've had our listeners, they've heard several shows talking about the carp and the invasive species and the issues that people have with that and the different situations. So that's good to know. And the listeners will be glad to know that that's coming along well.
Yes.
So what is your process for commercializing ERDC technologies, and how do you make sure these innovations actually make it to market and have an impact?
So Jenny's team, the Office of Research and Tech Transfer, do a great job of linking not only with ERDCWERX, but there's also a DoD level national partnership intermediary called TechLink. So there are a couple entities that are reaching out. We kind of get a chance to kind of double down on of the roughly 110 or so active patents on about 40 that are like really critical and benefit from some even more aggressive outreach. We work hand in hand to identify who the ideal commercialization partners might be because they have experience in the market, because they already have a supply chain in place, because they may already have a distribution network and be able to kind of readily produce a commercialization strategy for ERDC that convinces them that, hey, these folks know kind of how to approach this and appear to have a credible plan for how to make it happen. So we have a full-time commercialization manager on our team at ERDCWERX, and she has worked in this business for years. And so folks that are interested to commercialize an ERDC patent don't have to know exactly how to do this. We kind of help walk them through the process. If they realize that, hey, there's a product at ERDC or an innovation that would fit well in my business or might allow me to spin out and create a second business, we will help walk them through that entire process and really help them prepare to deliver to one of Jenny's cohorts, or actually herself, at the Office of Research and Tech Transfer, a full plan for what they would do if they were awarded or entered into an agreement with ERDC to commercialize that technology.
Okay.
So a lot of hand-in-hand work, a lot of back and forth kind of consultation, and helping the potential partner understand their options, and hopefully move that quickly enough that they feel like, okay, this opportunity is here for me. I've decided to pursue it. We're going to quickly move forward and try to make some decisions that are good for ERDC and good for the external partner.
Okay. Do you have something to add, Jenny?
She hit the nail on the head. No, but I feel like a lot of what she just said is about marketing, right? And about market intelligence, knowing what our technologies are, as she just described previously in the fish deterrent, knowing what that is, and then knowing who to go to, right? Mm-hmm. And so the part of the technology transfer officer, or myself, my job, there's so much going on that I may not have as much time to do that. So we look to our partnership intermediary to really help us with that market intelligence, help us find those customers or those the partners to really add reach to research for our innovators. So they do an excellent job with that, and really kind of bring the deals to the table, and then we try to. And then it's up to the ORT to really put that solidify it, right? Get the lab directors signed off on it, and get the buy-in where we need it. So internally.
Okay. And I haven't really focused on the title of this show. I don't know if I've even said it one time. And I think it's really important that people realize that we're talking about from research to reality. That's what we're talking about. And so that's the name of the show today. So how do you get small businesses and entrepreneurs involved in the innovation process at ERDC?
Yeah, I think I liken this to back in the day when Kellogg's introduced cornflakes. Everyone understood porridge or oatmeal or that kind of product. They had no idea what cornflakes were. Mm-hmm. We're kind of in that game. So part of the work that we do is just familiarizing potential partners with this opportunity. Mm-hmm. They all understand what federal contracting look like. You would like to buy a widget at ERDC. I sell a widget. We figure out how for you to learn about my product and consider buying it. Mm-hmm. This is a little bit different because ERDC is looking for innovators. So this is more of a we'd like to find partners that could be either compensated to do applied engineering with us, right? The product's a little more nebulous. Mm-hmm. The problem is defined, but the specific product is a little more flexible. And so that's a new thing for many small businesses across the country. There is also a national network funded by the Department of Defense and their Office of Small Business, where in every state there are people funded and trained in place to help small businesses realize that they could be building their business or growing their business by doing work with the federal government. And so we communicate to that network quite aggressively, and have a lot of good friends across the country who are coaching small businesses as to their federal contracting and business growth opportunities, with a component in it that includes either revenue opportunities coming from federal government collaboration, or just agreements that provide syncing up and parallel collaboration through cooperative research and development with organizations like ERDC. So there's some opportunities for in-kind work where ERDC may be funded to do some work, a company's already investing in some work, they're synergistic, and there's an opportunity for collaboration, and the team that Jenny's on it or also puts agreements together to solidify those kind of collaborations as well. But bottom line, we are we are challenged and have the opportunity to inform small businesses about this opportunity that in many cases they're just not aware that it's there. And we do that by emailing people, by reaching out through their professional and trade associations. We can actually pick up the phone and call companies and say there's this opportunity that's out for competition right now, or there's an event coming up that we think could fit with your organization. We want to make sure you know about it, and we're here to kind of coach them on how the process works to ultimately kind of put their toe in the water or throw their hat in the ring with an opportunity with ERDC, which just starts with a 3-page white paper. So very easy, low hurdle to entry to engaging with ERDC and sharing an idea that ERDC may come back and say, oh, now we want the 10 or 20-page detailed proposal. But it's easy to just with a couple pages submit an idea. Of course, not include anything proprietary or confidential, but to get the conversation started with ERDC by a simple submission through ERDCWERX.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think DoD it's kind of like overwhelming, right? So you think about that. You think about ERDC being a DoD organization and mom and pops out here. Oh my gosh, a
little bit intimidated.
I don't even know how to start that conversation, right? And so for me, I think having Janice's team available, and even our small business representative Kim Delaney at ERDC, she is helpful in getting their foot in the door, or showing them how they could go and register on sam.gov. But a lot of the things I wanted to mention one of the things I wanted to mention about the partnership intermediary is they have the opportunity to engage ERDC in that mechanism, and it's not so intimidating.
Right.
They get to discuss maybe what we're looking for or the challenge that we're having or whatever, because that small business or that mom and pop may have a better innovative way of doing something than our ERDC researchers. So we want them to have the opportunity to engage us and work together in maybe on a cooperative research and development agreement, so that's one of the mechanisms we use. It's called a CRADA. So anyway, I think that small businesses at this point don't have or are intimidated, like we said, but then I think they don't know where the door is, right? Who do they engage with, and how do they get that foot in the door? So anyway, partnership intermediary.
We're kind of if we've got small businesses listening right now, they probably learned a door that they could open. So
yeah, ERDCWERX.org, and we have a switchboard, so it's easy to call one number and get connected to one of our team members.
Very good. So looking ahead, let's look ahead. What's next for your collaboration, and how do you see ERDCWERX and ERDC evolving together to tackle new challenges in technology transfer?
So
crystal ball.
Crystal ball. The ecosystem, and Janice probably knows the number off the top of her head, that they've developed for ERDC, and the growth in the footprint has grown. I don't even know how. It's just beyond.
It's over 20,000 people now who we know what they do, and we know that they do something that could be of interest to ERDC.
Wow.
So expanding that is one of the I think is one of our goals. The innovation to market that we talked about earlier, I actually was on the phone passing emails back and forth with my boss, and she was like, well, can we do 2 in-person events this year? And I'm like, oh gosh.
We can make that happen.
So, so things of that nature, and if you know me, I'm not a planner, so that intimidates me. But Janice's team is super helpful with that, and makes it a lot easier to go through. And so
is the event held at M-City, right?
Historically, it's been held at M-City.
Right.
There's an opportunity because, of course, ERDC has locations in Illinois, Virginia, and New Hampshire. There's an opportunity to think about locations,
absolutely,
close to the other labs as well. And some of the other labs are quite prolific in their innovation. So not all of the patents are coming from Vicksburg.
Right. That's right. That's right. So we want to spread the wealth.
Absolutely.
And make them give the opportunity for folks in that geographical area to come, to Hanover or to Champaign, Illinois, or whatever, where our other labs are located. I think another thing too, one of the main things I was thinking about is manufacturers. If you're listening to this and you're a manufacturer, this is something that like I said, ERDC cannot manufacture their own product, and there's different ways of what we do have. I mean, the commodities or whatever. So yeah, we have methods, we have ideas of things, of technologies we do, but then we also do have the widget that we have made a prototype of, but we can't manufacture that. So I think it's one of the things that I would love to see grow within the next 5 years for our researchers, because there are solutions that are on the table right now that our warfighters need, and are having issues. I don't want to say we're having challenges with getting those actual technologies to the warfighter, because we don't have the extra amount of manufacturers to be able to produce that as quickly as they can. So do you want to add to that?
Especially manufacturers with some engineering and design capability, because much of that manufacturing is connected to developing a prototype or advancing the materials and design performance of a design that might already have been created at ERDC. And that extends to software and programming, and kind of, software is now a product too, that gets produced and rolled out to the marketplace. And so there are programming and other software kinds of opportunities that point to advantage for the rest of the country that ERDC is working on. The other thing looking forward is that ERDC is now utilizing us more and more to help convene other government partners. So I talked about how, and I think Jenny mentioned this too, that ERDC works on a lot of things because there's another federal entity that has requested that ERDC deliver a solution or come back with a couple ideas about how a challenge can be addressed. And so ERDC has utilized us to help convene government partners around additive construction and how reducing variability in the approaches to how buildings are 3D printed on military bases, and how a unique and standard set of code could be established for the Department of Defense for how buildings, barracks, and other structures get built on military bases using 3D printing is an example of a project where we actually helped ERDC bring other federal government partners into the room, and of course position ERDC with its expertise, but also point to the future opportunities that that present themselves by that broader government collaboration. So those are situations where those conversations keep generating revenue and project opportunities for ERDC that keep the researchers paid and continue to grow ERDC and the impact that it has.
Okay. So we have got a couple more questions this morning, and so these are going to be everybody listen, what advice would you give to ERDC researchers and external innovators who want to collaborate with both of you, and how can they best tap into the resources and support you offer?
So I think it's fair to say that our relationship isn't separate. So the question really, I guess, depends on how you're trying to engage us and who you're trying to, or what you're trying to accomplish, right? So in the Office of Research Technology Transfer, we basically ask 3 questions. So what are you trying to do, or excuse me, what are you trying to partner to do? So is it research? Is it support services? Is it support or services? Is it licensing? Is it prototyping? Those types of questions are asked. Okay, so then who is the partner? So who are we talking about? Is our audience or our partner our academia? Is it the industry? Is it a federal agency? That determines on what type of vehicle we we kind of move forward with. And then who's paying for it? So, the government is just a business just as any other. So, if acquisition is being paid for by the government, then that's a contract. If we're seeking reimbursement from outside industry, then that's going to be an agreement through the Office of Research Technology Transfer. And then like Janice mentioned earlier, in kind, and that's an agreement that would come through our office as well. So I don't know. So for me, I think anybody that wants to engage us, I always say, reach out to ERDCWERX and email them. They're there, like Janice said, that they have like what did you call that? A board.
Smorgasbord?
Switchboard? A switchboard.
Oh, there you go.
They
have a smorgasbord of
an old
options.
technology term, isn't it? Yeah, we do have a main number.
A main number.
And so we can be reached anytime via email or phone or social media. And you don't really have to know what the solution is.
Right.
If you know you're interested and you're trying to address something that involves collaboration, there's really a no wrong door kind of policy between the Office of Research and Tech Transfer and ERDCWERX. So there's no wrong decision about reaching out.
Right.
And like I said, you don't have to have figured out exactly what the solution is. We'll help work with you to address whatever you're trying to accomplish. And to Jenny's point, there could be many options.
Right.
So we can help you consider all those and figure out what works best.
So I think too, with the synergy, so if no matter who calls, whether you go through ERDCWERX store or through the ORT store directly, to the TTO, we're going to tell you where you may need to go next, right? We're going to say, hey, I want you to reach out to Janice Karcher. She's our deputy director of our partnership intermediary. She can help you with this and where to find the solicitations for white papers for certain solutions or whatever.
Or how to do market research.
Or how to do market intelligence or market research. And then and through our office, we it's more of a, depending on who it is, like we said, you got 3 questions to ask. That's where we start from, and then we make that determination on who gets the knock on the door.
Well, okay, so as we wrap up, finally, what's the key takeaway you'd like our listeners to have from this conversation?
For me, like we just said, being able to, we're an open door for not only with the Office of Research Technology Transfer, but through ERDCWERX and our partnership intermediary. They are, they're not just our subcontractor, they are a neutral facilitator, as we talked about earlier, and they are there for igniting, I would say, industry partnerships and academia to really engage ERDC. So I think that's a great takeaway for I guess, the audience, I suppose.
Okay. Janice?
I think just briefly for ERDC folks, we have a process, and we specialize in doing things. I won't say over and over, it's kind of customized every time, but we can take some of the busy work off the desks of researchers, allow them to really stay focused on the science and support their needs for collaboration, communication, the non-technical, non-science stuff. And then also kind of expand the bandwidth at ERDC, because I know ERDC is always hiring. So for those who are listening who have an engineering degree or have an interest in science and don't work for ERDC, you may want to consider looking at their job postings, because it's a great organization to work for. But then for the external audience, just please know that ERDC is committed to collaborations and wants to see more partnerships. It's a part of the growth strategy and part of the strategy for delivering on its value to the rest of the federal government and to the country overall. So we're here to kind of help facilitate that and make it easier for folks to realize where the collaboration opportunities might be.
You know what? And that's the perfect closing to this show, because again, this season, we're starting off with this show, season 4, and our we're pushing the collaborative impact and what's involved in that. So ladies, thank you again for being on the show today.
Thanks, Janice.
Nice job, Jenny.